Unlike many Hollywood stars, Emily Blunt was born into prosperity in the United Kingdom, specifically in the upscale neighborhood of Roehampton, southwest London. Her father was a prominent lawyer and her uncle took a seat in Parliament. Emily, by her own admission, was quite the nerd. She excelled academically, committed to early morning cello practices, and when it came to indulgences, here's a tidbit, as a young lady, she was allowed half a glass of wine a week with her meals. Moreover, Blunt navigated through a severe stutter, and her initial foray into theater wasn't only driven by artistic expression but also therapeutic needs. Mimicking the voice of various characters helped her combat her speech impediment, allowing her to communicate more with peers without feeling ostracized. In those years, her ambitions were not solely tethered to acting. She equally desired a singing career and even produced an amateur album. Industry folks promised her a future, and once, while working on the theatrical production of The Royal Family with legendary actress Judi Dench, Blunt couldn't resist and asked her, "Is it possible to merge both careers?" "Oh no, darling, you can't do both," replied Dench. The scales ultimately tipped towards acting. Not insignificantly, her decision was influenced by the fact that Blunt received the Evening Standard Award for Best Newcomer for her role in The Royal Family. Looking at Blunt's early works, it becomes evident her acting ambitions were her primary motivator, followed by a desire to achieve wide success and earn money. Her film debut in Paweł Pawlikowski's independent film My Summer of Love was crucial to her, as it was where, according to her, she learned the art of improvisation. Her subsequent role in the TV film Gideon's Daughter was no less insignificant because in this movie, she managed to portray a character opposite to her previous one. If her Tamsin in My Summer of Love was expressive and egocentric, then in Gideon's Daughter her character Natasha was restrained and distant. Interestingly, for her Hollywood debut in The Devil Wears Prada, Blunt seemed to land the role almost counterintuitively, not demonstrating the usual zeal that American stars show to break into a promising project. For instance, it's known that Anne Hathaway, who played the lead role in the film, came to the casting director and even left a message in his garden sand saying, "Hire me." Blunt simply recorded a tape portraying her character, Hathaway's luckless colleague, in jeans and flip-flops, and she was chosen for the role over a dozen other actresses, including Hollywood stars. When The Devil Wears Prada was released, Blunt was nominated for several prestigious awards, and critics wrote that she stole the show from Hathaway. Seemingly at a pivotal moment when most would pounce, Emily Blunt took a measured stride. Her ensuing roles in American cinema were mere glimpses. Lured by Tom Hanks, she portrayed a fiery character in Charlie Wilson's War, and with similar feminine prowess, graced the screen briefly in the comedy Dan in Real Life. Regarding leading roles, they once again were ambitious films, co-produced with the UK. Windchill, produced by George Clooney and Steven Soderbergh, was not your run-of-the-mill American horror, but a neo-gothic thriller. Critics would agree, the finest parts are where the protagonist gets acquainted, while the weakest involve the otherworldly spirits joining them. Another significant project was The Young Victoria, with Martin Scorsese himself as the producer. Though the film predictably didn't hit commercial success, Blunt was once again in her signature element, portraying an aristocratic character with a complex inner life, earning accolades and nominations across the Atlantic, from the Golden Globe to the Empire Awards and London Critics Circle Film Awards. Around the same time, without slowing down, Emily appeared in the indie film Sunshine Cleaning and the quintessentially British comedy Wild Target. Intriguingly, in Wild Target, Blunt not only continued to expand her repertoire of rebellious heroines initiated back in My Summer of Love, but also concluded another reoccurring theme, a frequently occurring need amongst her characters to use the restroom.
Right, well, after the loo, Serena and I are going to lunch.
The next gas station you see, do me a favor and pull over, I gotta pee.
I need to pee.
Right.
Do you have a tissue?
Yet another purely British film, albeit a tad later, was the melodrama Salmon Fishing in the Yemen. Here, alongside Ewan McGregor and under governmental directive, Emily, addressed as Miss Chetwood Talbot, cultivated salmon in Yemen. He spoke with a quintessentially British comedic stiffness. Though the film wasn't a hit, Blunt found herself once again nominated for a Golden Globe. It's evident that in the first decade of her career, Blunt remained predominantly a British star, only marginally touching the American mainstream. Her merging into the Hollywood flow began after meeting actor John Krasinski. Krasinski fell for Blunt after watching The Devil Wears Prada and subsequently watched the film over 70 times. Eventually, with Anne Hathaway's assistance, he met Emily. And soon, he was dining at her parents' house, bravely chewing a semi-raw steak to impress the actress's father, who liked his meat blue. The wedding took place in Italy at Lake Como, in George Clooney's mansion, but the newlyweds moved to the USA, to Brooklyn. In 2010, even before fully settling in New York, Blunt appeared in her first high-budget movie, The Wolfman. This film had a complicated production fate. The first director, Mark Romanek, left the film due to creative disagreements, and his replacement, Joe Johnston, rewrote the script. By the time of shooting, there was simply nothing for Blunt and her co-star Benicio del Toro to play. Another high-cost project was only slightly better. In The Adjustment Bureau, Blunt appeared alongside Matt Damon, but despite the luxurious visual row from cinematographer John Toll, what happened on the screen looked secondary, and the film resembled an unsuccessful successor to the previously acclaimed Inception. Moreover, Blunt was given only 7 weeks to prepare for the role of a prima ballerina, so in some scenes, the viewer sees a peculiar hybrid. Emily's head is digitally attached to the body of experienced dancer Acacia Chachette using computer technologies. The third film, concluding a series of Hollywood failures, was Looper. In the USA, this sci-fi tape was mediocre but found success in China. The sympathies of the Asian public were explained by the fact that part of the action took place in Shanghai, and one of the female roles was played by actress Xu Qing. In Looper, Blunt has a colorful role of a repentant mother who lives in a remote house with her demonic son. About her character, Emily said she is a very tough cookie and is not a glamorous addition to male heroes, representing a self-sufficient woman. In general, integration into Hollywood was gradual and not particularly successful, and in the projects that Blunt chose, she was seemingly attracted by the complexity of the role rather than the value of the material as a whole. The situation began to change thanks to the help of more experienced colleagues. Tom Cruise invited the actress to his sci-fi movie Edge of Tomorrow. Interestingly, on screen, Blunt plays a heroine nicknamed Full Metal Bitch who trains the deserter played by Cruise. In life, the role somehow reversed. Cruise was the bitch, deciding that the exoskeleton should be made of real metal, so when Blunt first put on the 90-pound construction and additionally got a 120-pound weapon, she cried. To this, Cruise noted, "Come on, stop being such a pussy, okay?" As for another seasoned showbiz practitioner, it was producer Mark Platt. He worked with Blunt on the musical Into the Woods, and impressed with the result, invited Emily to play the lead role in the thriller, The Girl on the Train, which half of Hollywood stars wanted to get into. Blunt was to play an alcoholic, but since, as already mentioned, she didn't drink anything more than half a glass of wine in the heat, the task was not easy. At first, the actress wanted to get drunk and film herself to later watch the footage and mimic her own movements, but then remembered she was pregnant and discarded the idea, settling for watching the reality show about the lives of alcoholics, Intervention. Acting tricks also helped. Red lenses conveyed a hangover state, and makeup altered her skin tone, giving her face a swollen and painful appearance. However, neither Edge of Tomorrow nor The Girl on the Train, despite some success in the global box office and recognition from viewers, became career-defining for Blunt. That function was performed by the mid-budget thriller Sicario. Directed by Canadian Denis Villeneuve, the film told the story about the war against a Mexican drug cartel, and Blunt played an FBI agent, representing the idealistic view of a recruit on the gray morality of experienced law enforcement. Again, the role required preparation, including talking with female FBI agents and practice at the shootout range, but the main transformation came unexpectedly. During filming, Blunt got a bowel infection and received intravenous medication between takes. This added an additional degree of drama to her performance, which critics did not fail to notice, being delighted and once again showering the actress with awards and nominations. Interestingly, looking back at her career in Hollywood, Blunt said that it was precisely The Devil Wears Prada and Sicario, mid-budget films that have stood the test of time and were loved by viewers, that made her a star. They made her a star, but she still did not have a major commercial hit. This gift, quite romantically, was given to her by her husband, John Krasinski. A television actor without much experience in screenwriting and directing, Krasinski got material named A Quiet Place. He was offered the main role, but he also decided to become a director and co-writer of the script, making amendments and adding a child death scene at the beginning. Krasinski wanted his wife to play the main female role, but he had a schoolboy complex in front of Blunt. He was afraid that she would refuse or agree out of pity. But the story stunned the actress, and she entered the project. This family, in every sense, film cost about $20 million, but unexpectedly brought in a massive $340 million at the box office, and the acknowledgement from the audience was so broad that it ranged from a garbage man who shouted to Krasinski that A Quiet Place scared him shitless, to Stephen King who wrote on Twitter, "A Quiet Place is an extraordinary piece of work, terrific acting, but the main thing is the silence, and how it makes the camera's eye open wide in a way that few movies manage." A sequel was made almost immediately, and considering COVID restrictions, it brought in an equally impressive $297 million. In the end, if Blunt used to be one of the most respectable actresses, now she's also become one of the most commercially successful ones. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson invited Emily to the lead female role in the high-budget film Jungle Cruise, and became so friendly with her that he allowed her to visit his personal gym, Iron Paradise, a bodybuilder's altar where no mortals had been allowed before, and where the actress used the smallest dumbbells. Jungle Cruise did not become a big hit, but together with the expensive musical Mary Poppins Returns, it marked Blunt's reach to the new horizons. Now she's collaborating with Disney, and The Rock has taken her into his team and has plans to work with the actress even further. As for other promising projects, well, they are plentiful. Not so long ago, the miniseries The English appeared on streaming platforms. This summer, Oppenheimer by Christopher Nolan, where the actress played the wife of the physicist who developed the atomic bomb, made noise in the world of cinema. And a second part of Jungle Cruise and a sequel to Edge of Tomorrow are planned. Blunt, this stubborn English rose, has firmly taken root in American soil and is in the prime of her Hollywood bloom. It seems that in the coming years, the eyes of viewers and critics will be focused precisely on her.